What's going on, everybody? Applersky here, back with another new video, and this one has taken me a while to put together. I've been wanting to do a video on this game for a long time now. I just didn't have access to it. I sold my Xbox a few months ago, and just didn't really have access to play it. And I haven't played it actually until or since like it came out. I played it through it like twice, I believe. Um, but I figured now is the best time to do it. I picked it up on Steam for very cheap, and I didn't play. I only got to chapter 3, so all the footage you're gonna see here is relatively early in the game. But the point of this game, or this video about this game, is that I want to show how it's forgotten and why it's my favorite in the series and why I actually think it is the best in the series. It's kind of strange, like when I'm looking through YouTube and, looking at my subscribers, or the people that I subscribe to rather, this you don't see videos on this game ever. Like, it's almost like it doesn't exist. And with Dead Rising, the remaster of the first just coming out with what was it, yesterday? I figured this is a perfect time to kind of drop this video and maybe shed some light on how good it is, and if you haven't played it, maybe give you a reason to pick it up. Now the problem with that is that this was an Xbox One exclusive at launch, and to be quite honest, I got an Xbox One at launch because of this game. And well, this game, and then Rise, I forget the full name, that game Rise, the Roman game, and then Black Flag had just released, so I did the upgrade there. Anyway, there was a time where I was like Xbox like first, PlayStation second. I played PlayStation for their exclusives, but all my main third-party stuff was on Xbox, and that was really just because I had a bigger community of friends. I was playing online a lot back then. But I've been a PlayStation guy pretty much through and throughout my whole life. So I want to advocate for this game to be ported to PS4 or PS5, just PlayStation in general, because it's just doing nothing. It's not benefiting Microsoft to hold the rights to this. I think that they would be willing to bring it to all platforms. And it's just weird. If you look at, all the games other than this one are on PlayStation. And this game is very important to the series. I feel like this is where they ultimately got the feel right, the controls right, and the world is not, you're not, stuck in like a mall or a small portion of Las Vegas. This is a fictional Los Angeles, which also kind of is closer to home to me too, because I only live a couple hours away from LA. But you get the full experience. You get a whole city to explore, some very interesting like set piece areas. It feels like a real city, and you're not jumping into it for no reason, right? Like as much as I love Dead Rising 1 and Frank West, like, why the hell did he go there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I love the first one. I pre-ordered it and bought it day one on 360 back in the day. I love Dead Rising 2 as well. But I just think this one, for me, it all came together. It was a lot more cinematic. As you can tell here with, cutscenes. You'd go hours throughout the story in the previous two without a cutscene. And not to say that this one has too many cutscenes, but they're done in an organic way, and they move the story well. And his only real goal is to just get out of the city before they bomb it, and try to help his friends get out too. He's a mechanic, which makes sense for previous Dead Rising 2, what they introduced with the combining of weapons. But it makes more sense for him to be doing it because he's a great mechanic and he comes up with some crazy contraptions, not only in weapons but in vehicles as well. I know there was a little vehicle customization. You can put the chainsaws on the bike in too, but this one really goes all out and provides so much variety in how you want to play the game. I like to play games in general the most cinematic way and realistic way I could possibly do it. But that doesn't mean I don't embrace the zaniness and the fun, over the top stuff that the series is known for, and it has a lot of it here. There's over 100 survivors that you can find. Some of them will follow you back to the safe house. Others will just kind of thank you and move on. But you have to keep them alive too. They have a health bar. But I really like Nick as a character. Some of the cutscenes he might come off a little scared or weird, but I mean, look at this. He's a certified badass in his own way. He's putting together this crazy vehicle so they can all escape together. Very much reminiscent of Dawn of the Dead, which is one of my, if not my favorite zombie movie of all time. I'm talking about the remake too. Love the original, but that remake is just incredible. But yeah, here we get to see some of the zanier vehicles that you can make, just blasting through everything, like all the chaos. And mind you too, this is a what, 11-year-old game. Came out in 2013. This is PC, so it probably looks and runs a little smoother on PC. But it's very much what I expected from when I first played the game, from what I remember from when I first played the game. I think they finally got like the ragdoll, like the physics right. When mowing down multiple zombies in a vehicle or with a very powerful weapon. It's also the most like cinematic. Like I mentioned that before, but I also mean that to like the UI. It's pretty minimal, especially for that time period. As I've gotten older, I completely, if it's possible, when I play a new game, I remove all HUD elements once I'm used to the mechanics. So that is one thing that I would like to see if they do port it over, being able to like remove your health bar and your, or make it like more dynamic, like it only shows when you're like selecting something. But they could literally just release it as is on PlayStation, and I think it would do great because I've read forums, doing research for the video, I've read a lot about what people's opinions are of it in the series, and it's actually more positive than you would think. I don't know, maybe because it's aged well, people are going back to play it now. But I remember it was like not really heavily liked when it first came out. It does sit at a 73, I believe, on Metacritic. And they're all like, even though Dead Rising 1 and 2 are more, higher held in higher regard, this game has scored, not much lower than those. Like the only outlier being 4, which I haven't even played, but not because of review scores. I don't base my gaming experience off of reviews. I look at them just to see what the overall majority is saying, like in unison. But I just, for some reason, maybe there was too many games out at the time when Dead Rising 4 came out. I want to play it, and I'm going to. I got it off eBay for pretty cheap, so I'm waiting on it to come in. But it's funny, like, yeah, see right here, I love this, like the night suit with the harpoon gun. If you find there's things in the game where like, and this is top notch too. This is one of the things that sold me when I watched the first gameplay trailer, is like the non-aiming gunplay like is really good, and it still holds up. Like as long as you're like there's zombies near, he's gonna automatically shoot at them, and if they're on the ground, he'll like put one in their head, like you just seen. Like I think that's really really cool. And speaking of guns, like this game finally got like the gunplay right, and I know that the series started out with, you know, heavily focused on melee, which is great. It's awesome, but you can't have a zombie game with no guns. You know what I mean? Like Dying Light, it kind of makes sense. You know, it's a lot long. It's much longer after. Well, I'm talking about Dying Light 2. It's been like 20 years since, you know, the world is done, right? This is still kind of relatively new. They have not a cure, but, you know, they have Zombrex, which keeps the virus at bay if you're infected or whatever. But guns are prevalent in this game, but you, like, again, it's all player choice. I love the driving in this game too. The vehicles in 2 were minimal and cumbersome, and I feel like it's not perfect in this, but it's the best it's been. And it's really fun to, since you're in a city, just to drive with a. I like driving with just a regular car. I'll make the, you know, the combo cars too, just, you know, here and there. But, you know, that's just my play style. There's plenty here. I mean, there's side missions like this one, for example, where they're kind of like fetch quests, but they're advantageous to do because you'll like get a blueprint or a lot of attribute points, or, you know, things like that. And then you have your classic turning into nighttime cutscene, which honestly, like in the first game when that happened, I was like, what is happening right now? Like I was so like blown away, like caught off guard by that. Like, oh crap, they're getting stronger. So you have that here too. You also have some different zombie types, which I don't have in this footage because I only got to chapter 3, but there's some, you know, weirder zombie types in this one. I really like, I think my favorite thing about the game as a whole is the atmosphere, right? Like how much darker it is. And of course it's got plenty of comedy, but I mean darker as in like it feels less silly. If you want, you can make it feel less silly if you want to. Like going through these sewers, the music playing and during it, like super dark. I like to play horror games on like darker than most people probably, to get that sense of like horror. Even though, you know, like I said, this game can be super ridiculous if you wanted to play that way. But this one specifically, you know, it's got the creepiest vibe, I would say, of the series. And they really nailed like the controls too in this. 1 and 2 were very cumbersome, I remember. And this game, the movement set is just way more fluid. And then here you go, finding the blueprints, and there's tons of them. There's like over 100 weapon blueprints, and I'm not even sure how many vehicle ones. I don't really remember. But like this part, even though I don't show it, there's a side mission there. It's super strange, like this girl doing a seance, and you have to destroy these sigils, whatever. This here, and I love too, like when you go into certain buildings, like that was like a Chinese restaurant, or I believe either a restaurant or like it's not a dojo, but it's heavily Chinese themed. It has like the music playing in there, and you can find like kung fu outfit like you see here, plus this weapon here, which is absolutely insane and also really cool. Callback to another Capcom game you might recognize. He even yells the code phrase for that rising uppercut, Hadouken. So, you know, there's a lot of love put into this game, from, you know, Easter eggs to things you can find in the world that you can use as weapons. Like you can get a Blanca mask and put like a battery on it, and like he'll hit the ground and do like the Blanca electric charge, which is really cool. And here, I mean, just again, like I love the driving, the way, the amount of zombies that can jump on your car when you're going through big hordes, the way that they, like this perfect example, the way you can knock them off. Like they really nailed like the physics and the car, like versus the vehicles. Like you get some hilarious moments when you got all these zombies on your car too. Like you could just go really fast, slam on the brakes, and like if a guy's on your hood, he'll fly off, and then you could just run him over. Things like that. The setup of what kinds of kills you can get in this game is really, really cool. But yeah, and then you gotta protect yourself. It's just really, really good. The driving's fun. The motorcycles are a little bit cumbersome as far as like making tight turns. And then you got this weapon here. I forget the name of it, but it is a crowd control monster. And you could rack up like your combo so quick with this thing. And also this game includes like finishers, right? And they're kind of repetitive. They're like weapon type based. But nevertheless, they're all cool to pull off. It just brings it more cinematic. This, for me, grabbing a firearm, jumping on a vehicle with zombies everywhere and just annihilating a bunch of them, going on the run, getting to the next objective. Really, really good stuff. And then for your role playing, I mean, it's not toned down at all from the previous. There's a lot of outfits in this game. So here I got my knight outfit on with the broadsword, just clearing out this house. My actual side objective is in the house, but I wanted to show this to show, because of course, you know, you got to use the lawnmower. You got to keep that lawn, you know, spick and span, other than the zombie blood and guts. But yeah, I just had fun, you know, portraying myself as this knight for a while. It's a little weird when you go into cutscenes with these costumes and nobody talks about it, like, but it's Dead Rising. It's known for that. Watch this setup. What I do here, I grab a leaf blower and I just push him back, because I want to see the lawnmowers over there, and the leaf blower to push him back, and then let me grab that lawnmower real quick and get rid of you. Just awesome setups for kills. I think this game probably has the most variety of weapons too. Like, you got anything from machetes and katanas and chainsaws to hubcaps and soap bars and shampoo. Like, it's just pretty much anything that you can see in the world you could pick up and use it as some sort of a weapon. You know, a lot of them aren't effective at all, but at least it's there and the variety is there. Here you get to see I'm just mowing, just strolling through the town with this oh, I forget the name. What is that vehicle? It's not a bulldozer. It's a pavement layer. I don't know, but it just splatters all the zombies in front of you. The map there is one of the weaknesses, I would say. The waypoint system is a little cumbersome. It doesn't give you like a path, you know, on your map. I'm not saying I would want a path like visibly, but in the game, but like you can get turned around, right? Because that's another kind of weakness I would say about the game. The game has a lot of barricades, which can make getting around kind of confusing at times. But you'll get the hang of it once you visit all the areas in the city. This is a safe house that I unlocked by doing a mission for this girl, and here you get to see all the costumes. This is the Apocalypse edition, so it's kind of like the complete edition or whatever, and it comes with a bunch of costumes. You see Ken Masters up there. You got like an apocalyptic one, a bloody one, and then this is your skill tree, which I haven't even touched the life bar. I go for the ones that like unlock new moves, or more inventory slots, or more ammo for guns. Like, those are crucial. They'll be lifesavers, you know. And this here, another example of the cutscenes that actually matter. Like, these are his friends. Like, these are his group, and he's trying to get them, find a way to get out of the city. I don't want to give away the story at all, because people watching this may have never played this before, so I kept the story beats to a minimum for a reason. But yeah, their main goal basically is to find a way out of Los Perdidos, which is the name of the city. And there's also another part of the story that's actually more interesting than that, but I don't want to give it away at all. You just have to play, or if you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. but yeah, the this game doesn't. A lot of people I remember said like that it took the soul away from Dead Rising, like, and I don't get that, like, because every feature returns and it returns better than the previous games. You can argue that the psychopaths were more superior in the first game. However, there's just as many as there was in the first game, and 7 of them are tied to, like, their characters are based off the 7 deadly sins, which I think is a really brilliant idea. And only one of those you have to fight. It's part of the story and like kind of like tutorializes the boss fights. And that's coming up here, so when we see it, I'll let you know. But there's also a ton of survivors, like I said, like over 100. Some of them, you know, will return back with you and you'll unlock something. Some of them won't. They'll just thank you, and they might have a stash of weapons nearby or whatever. But the cutscenes are very well done. The characters are a mix of like funny but also serious, and they're actually like main characters. You know, they're part of Nick's crew. They're not just random people that move a new feature along or anything like that. You know, I felt myself genuinely caring about like the side characters in the game. But right here, kind of an important part. You get this radio. I mean, Dead Rising wouldn't be anything without a radio, right? But this guy's like, works for the CDC or ZDC or whatever it's called in this game, and he gives you tips on where survivors are at, that he's located. This guy, I think his name's Gary. He's actually more of a main character than some of the other people you meet. But I just wanted to show you this, not really because of Gary, but like, I really think this mission is cool. And I also wanted to show off a glitch too, because, you know, I'm not saying this game is perfect, but I didn't see these items like all of a sudden became invisible, but you could still pick them up. And if you notice, I actually have a weapon in my hand, and it like disappeared. So it does have some quirky glitches, but I will say, I don't remember these glitches in the original version. But that's not without saying that I did experience a few more as well. Not often, but there was a moment where I made a combo weapon, and it was not hitting the enemies. Like, it was... I don't even know how I fixed it. I think I just like ran away from that group and then came back and it started like working again. But again, that could possibly be the PC version. I haven't played the Xbox version in so long. But either way, we're getting to the end of the video here. This is just me wanting to highlight, you know, some of the greats of this game, what it does better than the previous 2. And, you know, it's funny too. I was doing some research on 4 because I never played it, right? And IGN's review is hilarious. Like, they gave it like an 83 or an 8.5, and in the video they were praising it for innovating the gameplay, and never mentioned Dead Rising 3, which if you look at Dead Rising 4, the systems, at least the mechanics, are almost identical to this. So I just thought that was funny. IGN's not really the most credible place, even way back, you know, 10 years ago or 11 years ago, whatever it was, but wanted to mention that too. Either way, great game. I hope this sparks some interest or re-sparks it for some people to revisit it again. I will probably be doing, once I complete the game again, I'm going to probably do like a shorter, like 11 years later type of video. So please, guys, leave in the comments. Like it if you like it. Comment if you disagree or agree with me. What's your favorite of the series? Have you played this? What do you think of it? All that good stuff. And if you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing. It really, really helps me out. But thanks to all you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.